Hi everybody, Nick Tunbridge, Stutter Coach. This is my 5th video in a series of videos that I'm doing. I also would like to recommend you check my books out, Stutter Survival Guide 1 and 2, available on ebook format at Amazon. Today's video is about job searching and how do you, as a person who stutters, successfully nail the interview and get the job. I have been in executive recruitment for 32 years, and this is an area that I know very well and have deep experience in. From the point of view of being someone that has had to interview a lot of candidates as they go through the job search process. So what typically happens is that it begins with an online interaction. So you'll see an ad, you'll apply for that ad, you'll send a resume, a CV, in with a covering email, and then you might get an electronic response back saying they've received it, and also then sometime soon after that, or you may get this straight away, you may get a phone call. So your first verbal engagement will be with that initial phone call, and that will be the recruiter or the person in the company coming back to you to talk to you about your CV and your application, with the view possibly to making a time to come in for an interview. So when that occasion occurs, my recommendation is you don't want that phone call to catch you off guard. So if you receive that phone call, it's absolutely fine to let that call go through to voicemail, and it'll come up as a number that you don't recognize on your phone. Let it go through to voicemail, hear the voicemail, and then at least that affords you some opportunity to, if you like, set that phone call up when you call them back. So you can do some practice, you can think clearly about what you're going to say. It's very disappointing for someone who stutters, who's really good, a great candidate for a job. They get a phone call they're not expecting, they get flustered, and they start stuttering, and the job search process can end right there. So my view is return that phone call on your own terms. If you do happen to pick the phone up and it is the recruiter, you've got a couple of options. One is that you can say to them, look, I'm just caught up at the moment, I'd like to call you back. Can set a time up to call them back. Or you're going to have to use the best level of speech technique that you have and return that phone call in your own terms under control. So if you have to speak with a lot of technique and speak very slowly, that's fine, you go ahead and do that. Or it may be, if you're comfortable, even potentially disclosing that you have a stutter and this is how you wish to make the phone call. But generally speaking, let it go to voicemail, regroup, and then plan the phone call. It's very challenging for people who stutter because the first thing, being the phone call, quite often is the most difficult. Some people are they really struggle on phones. They're great face to face. So again, return that call in your own way, under your own terms. So let's say you've had that phone call, you've used your technique, you've had a fluent exchange, and they've invited you in for an interview. Then the next stage is going to be, how do you as a person who stutters, how do you position yourself in order to represent yourself in the best way? My advice is that you do a lot of role playing, you get ready for the interview, you practice your speech, you get yourself in a rhythm of fluency. But fluency is not the key goal here. The key goal here is to represent yourself in an authentic and comfortable way. And my advice to people is stutter, but do it again under your terms. I think it's important that people know that you do have a stutter so they can accommodate you, and you don't want to be covert about it, which means that you're substituting words and you're appearing fluent, but you're actually not. Because if you get through the interview process and then you get into the job and you're not fluent, you're going to have a whole lot of anxiety around how you're going to cope in that thinks that you're a fluent speaker. So my advice is, on your resume, passively refer to the fact that you stutter. Could be that you belong to a stuttering self-help group, or that one of the achievements you might have listed are that you overcame a stutter, or you manage a stutter, because we don't ever really overcome it, but it's a day-to-day management thing. And then when you go into the interview, you're going to go in, and as soon as you open your mouth, you're going to be using your technique, and you're going to be speaking in your terms and claiming your space. An example of that might be when you sit down, when you walk in, but prior to sitting down, you can greet people, and you can be proactive in that rather than waiting for them to greet you. You can say, "Hi, I'm Nick." Shake hands, do what you have to do, then you sit down. But when you've opened your mouth and you said, "Hi, I'm Nick," you want to do that with control, with your technique, whatever that might be. Might be, "Hi, I'm Nick. It's really nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me in." Whatever. But you want to set the ground rules. You don't want to come in and go, "Hi, I'm Nick," and then everyone thinks you're perfectly normal and you're going to not have any stutters or anything. Set the ground rules so that they know that there is a technique there. They would have read it on your resume. So I used to always imagine they know I stutter anyway, so they might even be listening out to see how I manage it. And if you do stutter, if you do get in there and you have a block or lots of repetition, regroup. It's very hard to do, but take a breath, smile, keep the non-verbal cues going, and just start again. Going back to my earlier video on breathing, make sure you take that diaphragm breathing and that you breathe, exhale out, a little bit of air out, and just start again with no pressure. Any comments or thoughts on this, please write in. Be very keen to hear from you. If you like the videos, please subscribe, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.